will also be available on the website eventually. I'll hook everything up. Hi, Jeffrey.
Hey,
How are
what's up?
you?
Doing good.
I I just finished telling everybody about it being uploaded and that it's recorded and all that good stuff. Hi, Martyn. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, Martyn.
Okay, I'm trying to use headset today. I did some recording over the week, and I was told that my voice is way too low on the recording. So I thought, well, let me start using the headset, and maybe that helps.
I can't use earbuds.
Okay.
They pop. So I have my little Bluetooth. Sometimes they give out on me. Then I got my old reliables.
Well, that's good. This is all I have, and they're actually too big for me, so they make my ears hurt after a while. So I just try to do short stints with them. Hey, Martyn, how you doing?
Hey, I saw.
Oh,
Hi, Chris.
I saw a picture of your shop. Didn't you post a picture of your shop is now open?
it is. Yes.
That's cute. That's
It
a really
is.
cute little place.
I am so glad that you saw it from California, because no one from Elmira saw it.
Are you online?
Of course, yeah. Now I don't sell things online, but I do hypnosis and Reiki sessions, either over the phone or over Zoom. But
you should sell stuff.
Not online. I mean, I sell it in the store. So basically, what I did for a business was I taught, and the place is too small to have more than 2 people in at a time. So teaching has been on hold since March. So I tried to open the store up just to bring in a little bit, but it's I need to get the word out that it's open. Yeah. So it's interesting that you in California saw it, but very few people in Elmira saw it.
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, great. Well, all right. So I got to get people. I don't know what's going wrong. So,
Yeah.
oh well. But yeah, I have cool crystals, and we have a great used book, all metaphysical and spiritual type books, natural healing, and then just pretty doodads as well. Oh, here comes Audrey. And I am expecting Mickey. 10 minutes ago, she's like, "Are we on in 10 minutes?" I said, "Yes." Hi, Audrey.
Maybe you should do a walkthrough of your shop on YouTube.
Oh, well, that's an idea. It wouldn't take very long. It's one room.
Well, I mean, you know.
And there's Mickey.
I used to make handmade soaps and stuff, so that looked just perfect for what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. There actually, if you look at the one picture, there's handmade soaps in the little cubby holes that local people made. Hi, Mickey.
Hello.
Hi, Mickey.
Hi, sweetie. How's everybody? Everybody okay?
Very well. Well, I won't lie. I'm in a brace. I had to. Yeah. After the session last week, I took an air conditioner out of the window, and I didn't do anything with it. And then the next day, I carried it into the kitchen, and I let it there for that day. And then Tuesday, I thought, well, I'm going to carry it down the cellar. Well, there was my mistake. I went down 2 steps, and then I missed the 3rd step, and ended up on a landing, which was only 1 step down. The air conditioner went down the full flight of stairs to the concrete. Good. I didn't, thank God. But I'm, last Saturday, Oshara hurt her knee. She fell out in the front yard. So she was in bed during the session. And then Tuesday I did this. And yeah. So I already had an injury where I don't have an ACL. That was injured like 30 years ago. So I'm very careful as to how to step straight, because because I don't have a lot of side to side stability.
Mhm.
And I just went off the edge, down I went. I'm one side of me is all black and blue because the air conditioner hit me first, and then it flew down the steps. So I'm in a little bit of pain, and
Oh.
Oh, honey.
first it was the tooth, now it's the knee. But luckily, I have an ACL brace, and Oshara was in the house with me. So as soon as I fell, she yelled. She was in bed with a brace on. She yelled, and I'm like, I'm not okay. She ran without her crutches or anything to me, and I had her get my braces, so I was able to get them on and then shimmy my way back up the couple of stairs I fell down. And yeah, and then luckily my doctors got me in the very next day. I did not do any real damage to it, just pulled a lot of muscles and strained stuff, and I got banged up because the air conditioner landing on the other leg. So and I hit my head. I mean, I hit my back ribs. I mean, I'm yeah. I'm lucky. I'm lucky I'm not dead. If I would have went down the next flight, it would have been concrete. It would have been, the end.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I'm
honey.
very fortunate. I am very grateful that it wasn't worse. And here I am. Here I am. Yay!
Oh my gosh. I don't know what to say. You've never heard those words
Congratulations!
out of me, have you?
Congratulations! I made it again.
I'm speechless.
Sounds like you both needed some time to relax, some time off.
Yes.
If you didn't do it for yourself, it was going to happen.
That's what we keep being told. It's like, it's time to be quiet. So here we've all caught up now with winter is really coming because daylight savings is over, and it's time to just
Which
be quiet.
is what happened last week to our thing with the clocks.
Yes.
You all had gone back early.
You guys started a week
No,
earlier.
we
than
start
us.
ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we start ahead of you.
Yes.
And so my time really was what I thought it was, but yours wasn't.
Correct.
So
Yes.
we were like,
yeah. So I think the whole world is caught up now, and
Yeah,
everybody's on the same, same page. So I tell Oshara, I'm like, we're all caught up with Arizona now because Arizona never changes. They stay the same no matter what. So
really?
Yeah, it's the only state in the U.S. that doesn't switch.
Holy cow.
So I know
That
Mexico
says a lot.
doesn't. Mexico doesn't either. So yeah.
One of the states doesn't do it because of the farmers. Farmers don't want to change their time back and forth. They have to get up at dawn anyway.
Exactly. And I know the rumor mill was that it was for the farmers, so they had more daylight, but that's not true.
No.
I remember growing up when I was a kid, we're talking about the late 60s, maybe, when they started this whole thing with the time thing. It was because the school kids would have more light in the morning. I could be wrong, but that's how I remember it.
That's interesting.
That could be.
I think I've heard that.
Yeah, I don't know. And I also remember thinking as a mom that I'm like, why don't they change it the next week so that the kids have more daylight at night for trick-or-treating?
Oh.
And about 2-3 years ago, that's exactly what they did. They moved it. That's why we are sinking off a week. Now, I don't know why they chose to do it, but I thought the Halloween thing was, good for the kids.
Hello, kitty. Kitty.
I think they should just leave it alone.
Yeah, well, I think so too.
Don't turn it back at all.
Right. Because
I was up last night. I got up at 3:30 in the morning and forgot to turn my clocks back. So I started turning my clocks back, and I found myself singing Cher's song, "If I Could Turn Back Time."
That is so funny. Now, I just popped into the Finding Seth daylight savings time, and there is no results. No results. Now, I did put it in parentheses or quotations so that I was trying to get the whole phrase.
Interesting.
I took it out. It's still not going to
any more these days when we're talking to people in different countries and multiple time zones, time seems to be just a thing is kind of irrelevant. It's nothing to, it can be whatever time you want it to be. I mean,
Yeah.
Nikki, what time is it there with you?
Right now, it's 13 minutes after 6.
6. Okay.
And Audrey, what time is it there with you?
You're muted, Audrey.
Do I have
13 after 1.
Oh,
And I'm 13 after 11. What about you, Marilyn? Or not Marilyn. What am I saying, Marilyn? Martin, what
okay,
time is it there for you?
That's all. It's 12:13.
we know you
So
were
there
Marilyn
it-
Monroe in another incarnation. You just don't want us to know.
Wait till he gets his wig on.
Yeah.
I have a sister named Marilyn, so I get her mail quite a bit. Yeah,
The
she
TY in
doesn't
your
live anywhere
name,
near here.
the TY in your name threw me.
Yeah,
So that just gets to show you that time is irrelevant. All we have is now. It
Yes.
can be whatever you want it to be,
Yes.
So
or whatever day you want it to be.
So in Finding Seth, I just put in the word daylight and I see absolutely no reference at all to daylight savings
Oh.
time. There's 22 mentions of daylight, but he's actually talking about daylight on the earth. You can see daylight, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
What
So
about time change?
Yeah, time change.
yeah.
well, time, there's a lot. There's over 1,200.
Oh yeah.
So
but
there's
time
changing
change.
times. Yeah. Too many for me to look through.
Right.
You guys
right.
will have to do that yourselves.
Well, the thing is,
Um,
if time is all now anyway, then it wouldn't have been necessary for him to break out the little 1 hour changes. The deal is it's all now.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Kind of like a bookmark.
Yeah.
So now I have to ask you guys that are on, did you see or listen to the meditation for the astral projection technique 2?
I think
I
I did,
haven't,
but
excuse me,
Oh, I
I
haven't
was
seen it.
asleep that day in
You
class.
mean
I
the
didn't
one you
listen to
did?
one.
Yes.
no, the one you did separately, right?
The one that I did, and it's on YouTube. Yeah,
Yes, I did.
you did.
Yeah.
Did you think my voice was too low?
Yes.
Okay, so I need to boost that. All right, good. I want to, somebody posted that as a comment and I wanted to hear
I
from
think
other
it
people.
got better after you were about 5-6 minutes in. It just very gradually went up to where it was comfortable. Or when you're listening, you get used to the sound of it, so you lock in on it better.
Okay, all right. Well,
But
I'll
at
try
first,
to.
you're straining to hear it a little bit.
Okay, so that's why I have headphones in. So I'm going to try to do some recordings with the headphones and see if that makes a difference.
Oh,
Mhm.
you mean low as in hard to hear, not low as in deep. Okay, I was confused.
Oh, low isn't hard to hear. Quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
All right. All right.
But it was nice. It was a
and-
very good one.
Oh, good. Well, we're going to do the same one today live. So
Okay.
same one. And I'm going to try not to do that from now on. I'm going to try to go back and do older ones instead of one ahead. Joe is on. She says, "Hi guys. The European Council
Joe.
wants to stop the entire time change issue. Yay." So there you go.
Interesting.
There's been a rumbling about that too in the US. So
Yeah.
hopefully, fingers crossed.
Okay. I have to say I like daylight savings because I like daylight.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have the extra. It's nice when you're coming out of winter to have that extra bit of daylight, especially here in the Northeast because it's very gloomy here.
Yeah.
New York is
Yeah.
one of the we have the least amount of sunshine days
Yeah.
in the whole United States. So we
That's
have a
incredible.
lot of people that have that sad disorder.
I did when I was there.
Yeah. So by the end of the winter, boy, I really look forward to daylight savings.
Yeah.
Yeah. But today is difficult because it's already starting, it's rainy anyway, so it's kind of gloomy here today.
Did you have snow?
No, but I saw you did.
Yes, I saw that too.
It was,
Mostly gone.
well, it was very
Was
beautiful.
it?
Yeah, we got mostly rain.
Hmm.
I miss the rain so much. I miss rain and thunderstorms. I have to listen to them online.
Oh,
Yeah, I
We're
don't think
having
it's
one
rained
now.
here since,
It's
it
raining
hasn't
now.
rained here, I don't think, since February.
wow. Now you're by San Francisco, right?
I'm about 40 miles northeast,
Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
in between San Francisco and Sacramento.
Okay.
Is that San Jose?
I'm in a little place called Antioch, and it is right out of Concord, California, if you know where that is. And it's where the two rivers come together, the mouth of the two rivers where they empty into the Sansoon Bay. We have the Sacramento and the San Joaquin rivers that come in out of the mountains, and they merge here. My town is a river town.
Mm.
very
Very
nice.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Very beautiful. It's the Delta, so there's a lot of islands all around.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
That sounds
Very
nice.
beautiful.
Very nice.
I'm on this side of Mount Diablo, which is like a 6,000-mile mountain. It's right behind me.
I never made it to California. It's very strange. I was in New Mexico for years, but you know, it went to Mexico too, but we never went to California.
Mm.
I
And I'd
drove from,
love to see it.
sorry, I drove from San Jose to New York, so that was a cool.
Oh, fun.
My family lives in San Jose. Actually, they live in Monterey.
Nice.
That's some drive because I used to go from
I would
New York to Florida,
like-
and that's fun too.
Yes. I've done that.
I've gone from San Francisco to Florida.
Yeah,
That's a 3-day
that's
drive.
yes.
I have never been in Florida, so
Oh.
we were hoping to maybe make that trip this winter, but I think we're just going to be quiet and just settle
Yeah,
in.
I think that would be so nice.
It would be. I talked to the grandson and I'm like, are you going to be able to shovel snow for me this year? Because I just don't know that I can,
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So quiet.
Well, I have two
I-
grandsons who have the coronavirus.
Oh
no.
my goodness.
Yeah.
How they
So-
doing?
One is doing very well. He's only 18.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is 38, and it has hit him hard.
Now, are they here in the U.S.?
He works out. No, they're here.
Okay.
And I have one grandson in the U.S., but over here, this second grandson, he and we thought that it would all be very quick and very fine because he works out all the time. He's a real fitness nut, and he eats right, and he does all the right stuff. It is really blowing his mind how much harder it is than he thought. He said a lot of lung pain, which makes your back hurt, and a lot of stuff. So,
Right.
folks out there, don't
Maybe
think
he
just
needs just
because
to-
you're young. Maybe what?
Maybe he needs to take some time off and rest up.
Oh, he is. He really is, and he's being very well looked after. I mean, all of us are rallying around, and different other relatives go over there and make sure he has great fresh food, and and so forth. But
Mhm.
we were all shocked because as soon as he announced he had it, he says, "Oh, but don't worry. I mean, I'm fit. It's just not going to be much of a big deal." Well, it's now been about a month.
Mm.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. My
Yeah.
sister does not have it. Which,
Oh, very good. I've been thinking
Oh,
about
good.
her all week.
thank you. It was she said yes to getting lung X-ray, but I had asked did she have COVID, but she doesn't. She has bronchitis. So
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's tough too.
well,
That's
yeah.
not fun either.
No.
No,
And that
I-
can turn to pneumonia so fast.
yeah. But
Don't
I'll be
ask me
thinking
how I
about
know.
I'll be thinking about your grandson.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah.
We did a FaceTime just before I came on here. We did it earlier this afternoon, and because Jack wanted to talk to his grandson. And,
Mm-hmm.
so we both feel very much better now, having talked to him and seen him face to face, and and so forth, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
it's just going to take a lot longer, I think.
Hmm.
Don't think it's going to get more serious, but he's struggling to start knowing that he's recovering. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that
Mm-hmm.
feeling of I'm not still feeling horrible.
Right.
So, but for everybody else out there, take this seriously.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Ignore our president. Take this seriously. You
Now
know,
we're hearing that England, or yeah, England
yeah,
maybe considering keeping the lockdown until the beginning of the year.
we're hearing that too, that they
You are.
might. They said uh, December 2nd or December, yeah, from our 5th to December 2nd. But they made the announcement today that that is not a date of ending the level 3 lockdown. That's a date of considering whether to keep it going.
Okay.
So they were very cheeky about trying to make sure we were all prepared for the fact they may feel they have to extend it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well,
Now, what is considered a level 3 lockdown? It's no
you don't go
non-essential
anywhere.
travel. Okay.
Yeah, period.
So, grocery shopping is okay, and
Well,
pharmacy, doctors, or not.
yes, it is okay, but if you can possibly have things delivered, it's better.
Okay. All
You know,
right.
and they do click and collect. So you order what you want, they put it in bags, and you go to the door and they hand it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Mm-hmm.
not roaming around in a store among other shoppers. You're
Mm-hmm.
in your
Okay.
car, you drive up, they hand you your bags. In fact, they don't actually hand it to you, they put it there and you go get out and pick it up.
Okay.
So no contact at
Okay.
all. But I'm at the point where you just don't know what to think because we've
Yeah.
now been total lockdown. I mean, just in the household, we've not been out since March.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
literally
incredible.
not out the door. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is all, and you're so valiant at first, but now it's starting to really wear a bit thin.
It is. And I think that's what's happening over here is people got really tired of it and they did start going out. Like I saw on the news that there was a huge Halloween party and the police just came and shut it down. Now that was in New York City. It's very quiet where we are, but there's
Hmm.
still the cases are increasing as
Yes,
people are as they it seemed that when they opened up the restaurants and bars,
that
Yeah.
that
that's
was
when
so
it's
stupid.
increasing. Yeah.
Over here, they had this thing about I forget the little name they gave it, but it was eat out and help the economy. So they wanted everybody to go out and eat. Well, they've had a major spike afterwards.
Yeah.
And I just reiterate, take it seriously. This is the plague, people. You know, when you look back at history, and everybody's studying history and they study the plague and say, oh, wow, that is horrible. Oh, they were so silly. They were all passing it around. Well, so are we, because people feel, well, it's my right. Your right to die and kill others?
Exactly. Yeah, you have to have respect for other people and their
Well, a
needs.
lot of people
And
don't
yeah,
think so.
well, yeah, I know that. And
Hmm.
yes, and
Hmm.
politicians are up there right with everybody else, leading the pack. Yeah,
I know that people say, well, nobody dies who didn't agree to die. Yes, I understand
that
that.
is true.
However, since we are saying you create your own reality and you have the ability to project what you would like to see happen and put your energy into that, into creating that, then why can't we all say we're anxious to create a completely virus free world again? We had one. So now we need to do what's necessary to get that back
Hmm.
and not choose to go. You know,
It
I don't
also,
need to go to die to demonstrate to somebody else how serious this
it
is.
doesn't mean I'm gonna walk across Park Avenue in traffic either.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be
Exactly.
careful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. In order to create the thing we want to see, then we have to do what we were able to research and find out constitutes the things, the steps that lead
Yeah.
to what we want. You know, and that's
Yep.
not a whole lot of personal hubris. So
That
think
leads that leads me into practical Seth. I would like to spend a few minutes on practical Seth today sometime.
ooh, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Practical Seth. You
Well,
come up
Do
with
it.
some great
Yeah.
phrases.
Yeah. Well, and my practical, Seth, when we're talking about COVID is, I really believe that the cells in my body know how to handle the virus cells.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I am very safe. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to go out without masks and that I'm going to put myself in unnecessary harm's
Right.
way, or unknowingly be near someone that doesn't have the same
That
beliefs
doesn't
as
believe
me,
it.
that could pick up something unknowingly that is may be a little bit compromised, or be living with someone that has a compromised immune system. So, right, not everybody has the strong beliefs that my body can handle this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we like to definitely spread that word, but in the meantime, we follow the rules and we
We're
live carefully. Yes.
demonstrating our belief in
Mhm.
our own and everyone else's safety.
Exactly. And it doesn't mean
Yeah.
that I'm living in fear that I'm going to die or I'm going to get the
I don't want to
virus.
help
Not at all.
you. I don't want to help you create the alternative to my safety program.
Yes.
Well, and also part of the laws of the plane is the law of allowing. It's where I allow you to be you, and I'm me. And if what you believe in, you have to wear a mask, and this always happens. I respect that because that's you being you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're in my
I wish
now, and
more
that's
people
you.
got that.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
your
very
thing.
well said.
I guess I
You
don't
know,
object. Sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
going to store up a hornet's nest here because of the right to life thing. It's no secret that I was adopted when I was born. So I'm kind of an advocate for the right to life, but the law of allowing means that no matter what I believe, I allow you to be you and have your own beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you don't have to agree with what I believe in, because I respect you for what you believe in.
Right. Yeah. My thing is that I agree with what you're saying. However, I also feel you can't have a bunch of folks who don't have any of the parts they're talking about telling me what to do with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and I agree
Period.
with you.
Period.
So first of all,
So-
I'm a guy and you're a girl. I stay out of your business. This is not my domain to get involved in. And whatever
you
you decide
ever-
that you want to do for you
Yeah.
is you.
But I don't push my beliefs on other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then everyone should do that.
Yeah.
You don't get in my face telling me what I need to do with my bits.
Amen. Yes.
I remember before Roe Wade, and my mother would always say, I just don't understand this. Back in the day, a woman and her doctor made decisions, and no politics or no laws said anything. It was a decision that was thoughtful and was made carefully between a doctor and a patient. And really, that's the way
That's
to
what
go back
But
to.
there were times it was, in the back alley. So
Yeah.
Mm.
And again, those are choices.
And that still
I was going
happens.
to say, that still
Absolutely.
That
happens.
still happens.
Sure.
Even with Roe v. Wade. Yeah.
Those were the choices that took the place of any rights.
yeah.
They were the only choices left after all rights had been removed. So
And adoption was different back then too. Mine was an arranged adoption. No, you went to your doctor and you said, doctor, I'm 16 years old. I can't have this baby. And he would say, I have a woman who just had a hysterectomy that can't have children and wants
Right.
another child.
Right.
And they would just connect the two together, and one would go in the hospital and the other one would walk out with the baby.
I think that's wonderful. I do,
Yes,
however,
it is.
say that again, I stress the fact that if you have a 9-year-old girl who's been raped and is pregnant and it's in the family, how could she be forced to have it
Yeah.
when the doctor's saying it will definitely threaten her life?
My sister had a different choice. She
Right.
got pregnant in her early teens, and my parents made the choice for her. So
Seth has a few things to say on the subject too.
That would be very interesting to see. I
Do
don't recall
tell.
it. Yeah. What does Seth say?
Don't want to hear what you don't want to hear what Seth has to say about this.
Oh, yes,
He
we
says it
do.
Yeah, we
doesn't.
do. We do.
He says it doesn't matter. Why do you put so much care and concern on killing when every day you don't think about the food that you eat from the refrigerator that had to be killed. Death is part of life. It knows when it's coming in. If it's going to be part of an abortion, maybe it's an entity that only needed to experience the birth part.
I thought about that.
or the
I have heard that.
physical, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that made beautiful sense because suppose somebody died, they were like, say, 95, they died, but they had a long time, 95 years to work on what they were here to do. And yet, just before they left, they realized, oh, there were a couple of things I was supposed to work on, and I never did address those. So they're fine to move on into a different realm of evolution, except they had that couple of little things. So you come back, you're only here for, we're talking about, I think the case was where someone had mentioned, what if you're a child that dies, or a
Even a
baby, as
miscarriage,
we're talking about.
the
Yeah,
miscarriage
yeah. It's
chooses
someone
to,
who only needed to experience certain small things about
yeah,
the physical existence. They didn't need to be
Or
here a
the
half a
mother,
century. They didn't.
that's right.
Yeah,
or they might have
yeah.
agreed to come back to help the mother through some sort of thing
Right,
from the past,
right.
and they only needed to be inside of her
I,
for a month or
I
two.
think it's I remember reading it, and I thought it was one of the most beautiful ways of thinking it out that I had ever seen. And of course, we're
So
talking about
before
me seeing it 40 years ago. So, I mean, we've come a long way since then in terms
before
of
I
how we
before
view
I
it.
get into Seth hell from our Facebook people, don't take my word for it because this is a sensitive subject. Go to
Yeah,
Finding Seth and look it up for yourself and read it for yourself and make
yeah.
your own decisions from that, not from me. I'm just an old
I think
white
it
guy in
sounds,
California.
it's a wonderful explanation, though. I immediately understood how, if you're in school and you're ready to graduate and you suddenly discover that there's one little course you didn't complete and you need that so you can graduate. Then you go back, you do that little course, take the exam right quick, and get out. So I loved it.
Everybody has their own journey, even if it's,
Yeah,
through whatever means.
yeah.
Blink of
I,
an
And
eye.
remember, we live in a camouflage reality. This is just an illusion.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But we're working out what we needed to learn and how we're going to go about it. We've come a long way,
Uh,
but we
I
still got stuff to
definitely
work
don't
out.
think that I I don't think that abortion is ever murder. I don't ever see it being that way in any circumstance. But it's
Interesting.
more, to me, I like the pro-life thing in the sense that I would love to see the babies born as much as possible.
Mm,
I understand sometimes they cannot be, and I accept that. I'm okay with that. And I'm certainly not going to tell somebody they have to have a baby if they don't want to. I don't believe in
mm,
that. So I don't,
mm.
yeah, that's how I feel about it. If at all possible, please have the baby because we need babies. but but it's not murder. No.
I
Yeah.
thought very seriously about the um, interest, life interest of those children that are a part of this big lockup that, Trump has them all in cages and blah, blah, blah. That to me presented a view of a very interesting um, decision to come here and be. And I'm still holding my breath to see how it all comes out because it's not over. But it's an interesting group to be in. Like those who were in America at the time when all the Japanese people were put in internment camps. any instance where people go through that kind of accelerated degradation makes you wonder what they were here to learn.
Yeah. I know people who are family members of survivors of the Holocaust.
Yes.
Why would they, but they did, and
Yes. Yes. Oh, dear me.
yeah.
Well, the whole thing about us creating our reality is a big, big, big fat pill to swallow. It makes all kinds of sense. Those of us who are
They,
here,
they have
you
their
know,
reasons, I guess, and
yeah.
yeah.
But we're being asked to be exceptionally spiritually responsible. Those of us who are studying Seth, it's a way of accelerating your response to spiritual responsibility. Deciding that, yes, I'm going to acknowledge the fact that I'm in control and I can put things in my life or take them out with some measure of control. And so when you embrace that and you say, well, yeah, I agree, I'm responsible, I created this.
Mhm.
A lot of people say, well, this is horrible. I'm going through a lot of crap and I don't see where I contributed to it. We're talking about a contract you signed before you got here. you know, so you've already agreed that this is the vehicle through which you wanted to learn a particular lesson in the universe.
I've learned lots
As
of
I,
lessons since my childhood because
as
I
I,
put myself through some shit. I'm going to
Yeah,
tell you
hello. So did I. So did I.
I think
Still am.
I think I freaked out when they told me that. I'm going to do what?
now.
You sure I'm going to go back and do what? Really?
You said, what? What you talk about, Willis? I
I
can
know
just
what you
picture.
mean.
I can I can picture those little meetings where different souls got together and said, now I'm going to be the mom and I want you to be the first husband. You can be the second. But I wanted to be the, and they're arguing about who's going to read what particular script.
I
I
was
hope
the
they got a
rabble
good laugh
rouser.
out of it.
Huh?
I hope they got a good laugh out of it. You're
I
going to
think,
be my what? I'm going to be your what? I'm going to do what? No, you're crazy.
yeah. Well, I'm going to be your mother. But you were my husband last time. And
And I'm going to be your daughter.
yeah.
I'm going to be
Yeah.
your daughter this time. Yeah.
Oh, it's probably all funny. Because Seth kept telling us to take everything much lighter,
Oh yeah.
to have some fun with it, and to
Yeah.
really, really lighten up. So can't you
Like
just see how
like
funny some of
actor,
that? Yes,
like actors arguing
at the
over their
table
roles
reading.
before they go on stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're at a table reading, and trying to size up how the series is gonna go.
I don't like this script. We need to do a rewrite of this script.
And some of it gets okayed. Well, all right, so we'll make it such and such instead. Hey, so and so, are you willing to come in and do it? I mean,
No, but I'm willing to be your friend in when you're 47 for about
yeah,
2 weeks, and then I gotta go.
and then I gotta go because I have a previous commitment to another contract. So if you
In
can be
another
through with
time
me
frame.
by such and such a point in the evolution, then fine, I can do it. But remember, I gotta go by such and such
Remember,
an age.
I prefer the 1600s as to the 1900s.
I feel the same way. I love that time period.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, I don't think I
Yeah.
want anything to do with that one. But
I
you
guess
know
it,
what? Huh? What? You guess what? What did you say, Martyn?
oh, I said I love the 1600s, that time period, that era around there. Yeah. I guess it depends on where you live.
Mm,
What society you would be living in could make a big difference.
You
But
were probably there.
yeah,
yeah,
I'm
I
sure we were.
was.
Mm.
I actually do know that I was in one circumstance. So yeah.
I think I would much prefer the farm as to the city in those time frames. Cities
Mm.
are
Yeah.
nasty. I guess you wouldn't know any difference if that's all you knew.
I'm a city girl.
I think I'm not.
I
I'm
am.
sure the me that was gardening so furiously. I mean, I was awake just before dawn, and I was standing in the garden well after uh, evening. I mean, you're out there where you can't even still see the damn plant, but you're trying to pinch and do this and do that. And I think that my obsession with the gardening probably had a lot to do with previous lives where I was definitely a country person, a farm person, et cetera, a person who was out in nature a lot more. Yeah.
Hard work.
Yes. Well, there's a strange kind of awareness that you get when you're gardening on a certain level. There's a point where it's intense and you really do feel the spirit in the garden. You can feel a presence, a universal oneness, some kind of connection to
I
Mother
do. I
Nature.
do. When I'm in
There
my
is,
You do
garden, but my garden's very little compared to a farm.
yeah, well,
you
mine is
develop a
just, huh?
relationship with your plants. You develop a
Yeah,
relationship with your plants.
yes, yes, because I could really feel them. And you get very, well, you had the plants, and then I had a pond as well. So you had all those other life forms that you're responsible for, to keep it balanced and so forth, the fish versus the frogs versus, you know, it's a very interesting way of understanding this existence.
Mhm.
There's something about your connectedness to it, you know.
I get
So
that taking pictures of nature.
yes,
Very
exactly,
connected through that.
exactly, exactly. Especially since you do such nice close-ups where you're seeing a part of it that you wouldn't see unless you stop to contemplate.
Sometimes inner realities they remind me of.
Exactly, exactly. That's amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
again,
it's
I
cool.
say I really, really appreciate the photography that you do because it
Wow.
gives me a chance to see another view,
Yes.
and it's an awareness of a level of existence that I wouldn't normally have been connected to.
I've never felt as connected as since I started, you know,
Mm-hmm.
taking the pictures.
Mm-hmm. Well, you do a beautiful job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to put some on. With Kate, when you showed us your art
Mm,
and your premises and where you're doing it and so forth, we've got to get Audrey to bring a few of her photos and let us see some.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because some of it is just so evocative of what we're all about here, being aware on many levels,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and having that expanded view of nature. It
Yes.
really helps with us
Yeah.
identifying with what Seth's saying, I think, anyway.
Yeah, we'd love to show them.
That would be nice. You hear that, Audrey? So get
I
him ready.
hear you. It's dark early now, though.
It is.
Well, they're
It is.
photographs, Audrey. It's okay.
Oh, you mean past ones I've taken? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How is Oshara now, by the way?
She's doing all right.
Okay, good.
She jumped up and came to my rescue, and then like as soon as the doctor said I really didn't injure anything permanently, then her knee started hurting again because she was off duty then. But oh my God, she was just wonderful, getting me things and
Yeah.
Yeah.
doing and yeah.
Okay. As long as she's okay too.
She is. The two of us are just taking it easy. My daughter and son-in-law and grandson were over yesterday,
Oh.
and they did things like taking the other air conditioner out, and he put in two handrails to the basement so that we have something
Oh.
to grab
Oh.
onto. As the air conditioner fell down the steps, it broke one of the steps, so he put a new step in. So
Wow.
Hmm.
they came here and they just did so much work.
Wow.
Yeah.
That tells you how hard that was falling. I mean,
Oh my
whoa.
gosh, yes. Oh well, if I dropped my drawers here and showed you my thigh, it's bigger than my hand, but it's like this big,
Yeah, yeah,
a bruise on my
a
thigh.
bruise.
It's huge,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
it is starting to turn yellow now. So I know I'm
Good.
on the mend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can sympathize.
and that's the opposite knee. So that's what I had to get up and walk around because it kind of gets it's so this is the knee that's hurt, and
Mhm.
you can't really see it, but it's got a brace on it underneath.
Okay.
And and the brace is rubbing and causing other issues
Mm.
because I'm using different muscles than I'm used to,
Mhm.
and I'm walking very tensely, so I have to get up and move a lot. And
So
slowly, yeah.
we're
So
all gonna send you some energy,
thank
some
you.
healing light.
And yeah, and Oshara is doing the same thing. So she's being very ginger with herself, and she's 6 feet tall. So she has a lot of height on her poor
She's
little
what?
bones. She's 6 foot tall.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Oh,
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
lovely.
look at the pictures of us
Yeah.
together. They're so silly looking because I'm
Well, I just think of
5'1".
I think of how skinny I'd be if I was 6 feet tall.
She is thin. She's
I'm
got
not
teeny
fat. I'm just short.
Well, she's got teeny tiny little knees holding up this tall body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said I'm 5 feet. My boyfriend's 6'6". I mean, that's a sight to behold.
Well,
What?
that's
Oh, that's
something. Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, I know what that
We're
feels
the
like.
odd couple.
Yeah. My ex
Martyn
is
Jeff.
6'6". Yeah.
Mutton, yes, I've heard
Yeah.
that.
I'm dating myself, but yeah, Martyn Jeff.
Yeah, I
Oh,
get
I've
it.
heard that
Mm-hmm.
from about us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. I
It
think
is.
that's lovely.
Yeah.
Well, he sure can get things out of the top of the cabinet.
Yes. Yeah. So, and
We
we'll
also
take care
know
of
where
each
those
other.
tall people, we know where those tall people hide stuff. It's always up high.
Yes. Yes.
I
Oh
would never
gosh.
know.
Yeah, I've always thought that it would be better to be smaller. I've always wished I was shorter. I know that's
Really?
terrible. I'm not
How
real
tall are you?
tall, but I'm not. I'm 6
How
foot.
tall are you? Oh, you say okay. I think
Yeah,
that's wonderful though. I
yeah,
really do. Oh wow.
yeah. I've probably shrunk a little bit since I measured last, but I don't know. I'm getting up there now, but
Well,
I
now
still
that I'm
feel like
older, I'm a half inch shorter. So yeah.
I wish I was built smaller. It just seems like, I mean, I admire people that are built smaller. They just seem to be able to move around so much better.
Well, it's probably a gravity thing.
Yeah, 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 I think so.
We are closer to the ground, yes.
Yes.
Don't you get the impression that Seth was not super tall in
Yeah.
the incarnation that he shows in the painting? I don't get the impression he
Kind of
is a
short
big.
and dumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I have him on my
Interesting.
wall back there.
I was looking at
I
that.
keep looking at him.
I do too. I do too.
I'm gonna make him bigger.
Oh, okay.
Did you see Ron Card? He made he sent a photograph of his painting to one of those companies, and he made a wraparound portrait of him.
Oh,
I
really?
saw it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you can buy them from Rick.
You
Stepp,
could.
too.
I've done
Mhm.
it.
Oh, okay, all right. We have a print. It's not done on canvas, but we have a print Mary Dillman gave to the Seth house. So we have Seth's picture, and we have Joseph and Rupert.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
and they're beautiful.
Yeah.
And just for our Facebook followers, we do not have photographs of Seth. These are all artist renditions.
Yes, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
They're not photographs.
We keep waiting for him to show up in a little box, and sometimes
Mhm.
he might. So right now he's just in a little box behind Jeff.
Yes,
That's what I keep
exactly.
saying.
Right.
Well, somebody might find him one of these days going back over these tapes, back
Oh.
over these recordings and see him in one of our frames,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
Possible.
interesting.
Keep looking.
Yeah.
I keep
Oh.
expecting him to peer over Jeffrey's shoulder.
There you go.
Wouldn't
I
surprise me in the least.
no.
Keep looking.
Talk to him all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Lawrence. I don't know if you all knew Lawrence. Lawrence was one of Jane's students, and he
Oh.
was one of the leaders of our community Seth groups here, the Bay Area Seth.
Oh,
He
Shara
passed
knew
away
him.
a few years ago. Yes, passed away a few years ago.
Hmm.
So he's all back there with the committee doing whatever it is that they do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
There's a lot of them there now, you
Mhm.
know? Yeah.
There is.
This is the last couple of years, there's been quite a few of the passings of the Seth community.
That's true.
Hmm.
That's true.
I think some of the old timers, like me and other people who've been involved in the Seth community, actually, like putting on conferences and doing
Mhm.
websites, all that kind of stuff. I think we're able to tap into that Seth energy. Most of the folks I know, the older Sethies, we call them the committee, and kind of an impetus of to bring it out into the world. It's interesting.
Yes, it is
We don't
interesting.
talk like we're talking here, but it's an inner knowing.
That sounds very, very interesting to be part of. You know, a bunch of other people who actually were maybe students and knew the experience of hearing him. Just amazing.
I was so
What?
lucky. I got to meet all of them, just about all
Wow.
of them. I was very lucky in my position
Wow.
in the Seth community.
That is
Well, Shara did
amazing.
too. You
Hmm.
know, our Seth conference, we had all of the New York boys that were
Yeah.
that were left.
Yeah.
Part of Jane's group. I met all the Mary Dillmans and all those, so it's really interesting. Practical Seth. Let's talk about practical Seth for a
Okay.
minute.
All right.
I've coined that term for a specific reason. Is because throughout my adventure in the Seth community, I find that most Seth groups focus in on books, and they usually read the book with a discussion, and they will read one book after another with a discussion. And when that book's done, they start on another one. And when they get finished with all of them, they start over again. So I think it's more helpful if you move into practical Seth, and that's how you take what you've learned and what you've absorbed in the Seth teachings and actually apply them in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's the difference of, say, if you're a musician, you're learning a bunch of chords, but you never play a song. Let's play a song. So we have all of this, and I think it would be interesting, especially for our Seth book folks too, who might be newer to this, is to discuss each time how we actually are applying what we've learned and what we've discovered in our daily life, if we do actually apply them in our life. Some people just study it, and that's their whole purpose for being in the Seth material. But I think other people want to start applying it into their life. And they look to us as some of the folks who've been doing this for maybe a day or two longer than they, of how we've done it in our life. There's many exercises in the Seth books. Maybe I can bring a couple exercises to the class and we can do those. But it would be interesting to hear how you've actually applied what you've learned in the Seth material in your everyday life. And you on Facebook also, how do you apply Seth in your everyday life? Or do you have any questions about how you might be able to apply Seth in your everyday life? And maybe why would you want to apply Seth in your everyday life? So these are good questions that I think it's time where we can move beyond the books and the book studies, although they have a very definite place in our practice. To actually talk about the results and what you're doing with what you've learned.
Mm-hmm.
That's my Seth practice spiel for today.
I think that's an excellent point.
And I think that's what this group does almost every Sunday. You know,
I
we
do
touch
too.
on the books a little bit, but it's just listen to the first. I mean, we're almost in a full hour, and
Yeah.
we've talked about COVID, we've talked about injuries, you know, and how we apply what we've learned from Seth in daylight savings even, you know. Okay, well, we didn't find anything on Seth for that, but we talked about time and what that means.
Hmm.
So I think that, you know, we do that, and I think that's why I really like this group, because it does work that way.
I agree.
Hmm.
I agree. And I
I just,
treasure what we have.
Yeah.
A very bigly.
Bigly. That's a good word.
I really think, I really think that it needs to be talked about more about what do we do with the Seth material and
Hmm.
how do we have it. I think it's an overlooked topic a lot of times. And the actual mechanics of it, it's like when you create your own reality. Yeah, for me, I do create my own reality, but I also understand that for me, it takes about 3 or 4 days in the space-time plane where we're on for it actually to start manifesting. And that's
Hmm.
just for me. It doesn't happen automatically. But I think if you start noticing what you want and asking for what you want and actually observing it happening in your life, that it encourages you to do it more and to trust it more.
Took me
It's
30
my
years, but
observation.
I'm living it now.
Hmm.
I believed it. I believed what Seth said. I did, you know, what he said, and I'm living a whole different life.
Mm.
From a rent stabilized apartment to a big house, and
Hmm.
but it took 30 years to get here.
Yeah.
I agree. I understand exactly what you're saying, and it's functioning similarly for me. I I am still making adjustments to how I handle what I need to do in terms of staying true to what Seth was teaching. And I embraced it immediately from the pages of the book,
Hmm.
but it took a lot more life experience to start being any good at manifestation, for instance. And yet, part of that is not having understood how much I was already good at manifesting, but was calling it something else. I mean, I was mislabeling how things happened for me.
I
So,
also blocked a lot of it.
exactly, exactly. But
I,
once I started to consciously apply my ability to create anything, then that means you had to take the responsibility for your own belief in yourself. I mean, once you start believing that you can create your reality, then you've got a lot of stuff on your plate about, well, how much of all this crap in my life do I want to keep? And what can I
Mhm.
do about, do I have the balls to make the changes
uh,
that I really like to make? Because some of the folks you will then take out of your life
well,
and
that's,
some of
yeah.
the things that you will no longer tolerate, they're going to put you in a certain group of society. They're going to position you in a certain way in life that a lot of other people are not going to like or agree with. So
Well,
then
that
you have to
happened to
understand.
me.
Yeah,
Got
then
my
you,
whole family mad at me, but
yes, yes. And then how are you going to handle that? You know, are you willing to take responsibility for being in command?
it was a choice, and I took it.
Exactly, exactly. So a lot of people
I,
think that they're going to still do as they're doing every day, and only they now suddenly have access to a lot of magical powers. But there's a lot that goes with every power.
Mm.
you have to learn responsibility, which
Yeah,
Says is why we're here in this earth plane existence anyway, is
exactly.
to learn responsibility with our creations.
And a
I
lot
think
of
that's
people
why
don't.
I wait. I think that's why it took me so long, and
Mm-hmm.
more mature, and it wasn't the time before this.
I mean, just
I'm
yesterday, I
sorry.
had a couple of things manifest in that way where I was faced with a difference in how someone else saw something and how I saw it
Oh,
over a period of 30 years and had no idea about the other point of view. And then I had to take that in and say, okay, here's my part in that, and here's your part in that. And now what do I want to do about it?
I think it's
I had three sisters, and we all had different experiences in our
Uh
family.
huh.
Yes, for sure.
Mm
I think
Sorry,
if you're
Jeffrey.
that's okay. I think if you're gonna play around with trying to create things, you need to start playing around with how to uncreate them too.
Exactly.
Good point.
Exactly.
Because sometimes they'll say, you know what, you asked for it, here you go. And then you say,
Yeah.
uh-oh, on
But
second thought, I don't think I want this. So if I created
Yeah,
it, I can uncreate it too. How do I do that?
yeah, because a great number of our creations that we wanted to put in our reality, once you get them in there, you start to realize all the other stuff that goes with that new position, that new stance.
that's how I felt when I first moved here. Like, oh my God, what did I create?
Uh-huh.
You gotta watch what you're creating, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
okay.
That old thing about look, watch out for what you ask for.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I remember, Audrey, in the beginning of these talks, you were not happy where you are, and you seem to have come full circle now.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it was showing in illnesses. I
Yeah,
was getting all kinds of.
I I remember you saying that, and it sounds like you're in a wonderful space now.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back.
Good.
That's wonderful.
Yes, it is. It is when, yeah, when we know and we can feel that we've made the right choices. I feel that way too. I think that, except for the choice to carry the air conditioner down the cellar, I'm
Yeah.
doing wonderful.
Yeah.
And now I'm making better choices, you know.
Mhm.
I,
Mhm.
I'm 61 years old. I should start, be letting other people step up a little bit. Doesn't mean I can't do things. It's just giving them an opportunity to help, and
Yeah.
that's good for other people too.
Yeah.
I caught myself, I'm turning 65. I had some difficulties a few months ago, and I caught myself saying to myself, okay, so I created this reality. I can't believe that I wouldn't have built in a way out on this
Uh-huh.
or a
Good
bookmark
point.
or something on this point. And when I realized that I've already built in the answer to this, then it all went away and I'm la-di-da back with life again.
I
Beautiful.
couldn't thank you enough for saying that
Yeah.
in my day today because I definitely needed to hear it. Thank you very much. I
Oh
can go
yeah,
now.
you've got this all
Thanks.
worked out.
Bye. Got what I came for today. But I needed to know that. Yeah, I needed to hear that.
Well,
Whoa.
and what Oshar and I have gone through this week, we could definitely see the correlation between what Seth said about Jane. So Jane, in her normal life, couldn't lift her arms over her head.
Yes.
Yet,
Yes.
as Seth was able to do all kinds of things with her physical body.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So when I was in need, Oshara's body just flew to me
Yeah.
and she had no pain.
Yeah.
Her pain didn't come back until I was deemed safe by the doctor.
Right.
Huh.
So we can see safeties were built in there too, because she was giving me healing and taking care of me, and then the doctor comes through and says, you really didn't hurt anything, and she
Oh,
was looking for something that was hurt. She's like,
that's so
well, how,
good.
how does your hip feel? And I'm like, my hip's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So it's very possible that was our built in,
Mm-hmm.
and everything is okay. So I think even in our unconscious thinking now, because we're so conditioned to think Sethian. I don't know exactly how to
We
say
think
it.
Sethly.
We think Sethly, yes.
Definitely, I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And so even our unconscious self is making these decisions in a
Yeah.
Sethi way.
Yeah, because we have to train ourselves
Hmm.
over time to think a certain way to fill out our own personalities in the way that we want to. And I
Mhm.
think you're right. You get used to thinking,
Yes.
you train yourself to think Sethly,
Yes.
to approach things in a way that you feel goes with what you've read, you
Right.
know.
So for
And
me, the initial Sethiness was how my body reacted to food, right? I
ah,
had food allergies. So my body knew how to process food, and it was learning that. So my body doesn't have to be my enemy. My body
yeah,
just has to know how to process it. And if I think Sethly, I can tell my body that this is okay and you can just get rid of this. It doesn't have to have all these
right,
results. Well,
right.
in doing that for so many years, now I've taken that to this virus. My body knows how to handle it. It
Yeah,
knows how to take care of it. It
yeah.
it 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 takes it to the injury with the knee. So
Mm-hmm.
I've moved it to other places in my life. Thinking about life practical, Seth, the thing that I have the hardest time with is the co-creation.
Ah,
So it's
yes.
living with people, around people that are creating in a different way, or just a different way than the way I would be creating something. And when you're co-creating that together, I think that's one of the reasons why we definitely want to commune with people that are like-minded. So
Yes.
it's a more comfortable co-creation
Mm-hmm.
than being with somebody that you're butting heads with.
Yeah.
Budding, right? Butts.
Yes. I
Oh dear.
agree. That
So
whole question of co-creating is a whole other discussion. I mean,
it,
we create, but then you get into that whole realm of
yes,
what are you co-creating with someone else?
right, right. So I'm
Yeah.
sure every person on this earth has helped co-create everything that's happening in some way.
Yeah.
Maybe my way is to lessen the damage that's whatever is going to happen. That's my part of the co-creation, not that
Mm,
I've made it bigger. But I also, I remember when I first started on this spiritual realm, which for me is only 11 years. So it's not, you guys are talking 30s down the road. I'm the newbie here. But I used to do like meditations that would give energy to things like
mm-hmm.
storms. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what am I doing? you know, Sending love to a storm, sending more energy to a storm that already has too much energy. So, I stopped the way I've thought about co-creating in that way.
That's
And
interesting.
that's all come from the studies of Seth. Seth says, don't don't give what you don't want to see happen more energy.
Energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
And
I don't watch the news.
Mm-hmm.
well, I've been sneaking it in lately.
I only watch for a few minutes,
Few minutes.
like by on alternate days or something.
I
I
don't
generally
watch it, but I'll flip through like titles.
well, I have enough friends who are gonna immediately tell me what they have you heard, but blah 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 blah. And so there's a lot that I've become aware of
Mm-hmm.
from what other people have deemed important.
Mm-hmm.
But as for I don't mind reading an article about certain politicians, but I don't want to hear a sound clip. There are certain
Well,
people's
Yeah.
voices
Yes.
I
that I
think
can't
COVID,
handle.
I think COVID protected me from my family around here because we're totally different.
Yes,
And I don't have to hear
yes,
all the stuff.
yes, I agree.
So it protected me.
It's a
That's one of
very
the good things
exciting
it's
moment
done.
here in the States right now.
Oh, yes.
I mean, like I said, I'll be happy with whoever wins. I seriously do mean that. I don't,
Mm,
I mean,
Well,
I like one.
I couldn't say that.
I
I
won't be
like
happy, but it won't affect me. I don't.
I like one half of both teams. So so either way I'll be happy.
One half
No.
of both teams.
Well,
Okay.
you see, I'm in a very a unique position in terms of having the choice of who to be interested in winning
Yeah.
because of the nature of what some sides have decided to do to people in my position. So therefore, I do have um, preferences.
Oh, I
Mhm.
absolutely do.
I'm extremely worried about my country. I'm worried about what's to come, you know. And
Oh my.
I felt very, very frightened by the fact that an assassination was predicted because of
Yeah.
how reckless it was to put that out there. I mean, just unbelievably reckless. And then within 24 hours, you've got 100 cars surrounded the bus of the other opponent. And those people actually wanted to knock them off the road into whatever. So I am very concerned about if that has, since that has happened, it tells you how volatile people are in what
Mm,
they're willing to do. And I mean, that took less than 24 hours for people to physically go after the
Mhm.
opponent. Well, that's frightening. That's very frightening. It signals to me that we're poised on the edge of a possible civil war. And that
I agree.
That
I
is
scares
agree.
the
that.
hell out of
Yes,
me.
and it should scare everyone. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Something to do our best, do our
Yeah.
work. That's what we're here for. Counter
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
or
I'm
not so much
worried.
counter it, but be something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Jeff had some trouble with his sound, so he had to sign off, and hopefully he
Oh, yeah.
can
Mhm.
And then come
sign.
back in.
Hopefully he can sign back on. I'd like to read something that Joe said, and this was a while ago. She said, "Once I laid resting on my bed, watching the tree in front of my house. In my imagination, I climbed up in the stem and felt very peaceful. Then back in my body, eyes still closed, there suddenly I saw a huge green lady standing in front of my house, looking at me with the sweetest smile ever.
Wow.
That's when I realized, mind blown in parentheses, how alive all nature truly is and always available for connection."
Yeah.
Oh my God, isn't that beautiful?
It is very. Ooh, I have chills. I
Yeah,
just, you know,
thank you so much, Joe. Yeah, that was very beautiful. Um,
that's a level of connection that's
it,
just awesome.
yes, and nature, I mean, it is so important. You know, Seth, I remember, I don't know in what books they were in, probably the early sessions, but he was really encouraging Jane and Rob to buy the house on, not the Hill House, but buy the house. What did they call it? I don't even remember what they called it now. The 1964 house, I guess they called
Mm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
1964 house. Well, the description in the house, Oshara actually Googled it looking for different signs that Seth had said, and she found the house. And we
Oh.
found the owner to the house, and because it used to be a church, there was a stained glass window there. So we found the house, and the woman, they knew Jane and Seth. The husband, which had passed away already, he was a picture framer, so he did some of the
Oh.
framing work for Rob, and they had a
Oh.
place down on Water Street. So anyway, the point I was trying to make is this house was surrounded, it was in the woods, there was a creek there, it was right across, you could see the Chemung River. It was very much nestled in nature and very
Mm-hmm.
alone.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that being that close in nature would have helped Jane,
Right.
very much.
Right.
So that connection to nature is something that we need to keep,
Mm-hmm.
and be very conscious of. And, with COVID and being locked in your apartment for, what is it, 7 months now? That's
Yes.
crazy.
Yes.
To be able to have any kind of connection to nature, even if it is lying on your own bed,
Yeah.
imagining that connection to connect, because
Mm-hmm.
she's moving into a place of astral projection, which we're gonna get to.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Yeah. That's
one of the
been.
things we're gonna get to today, and it is imagining that you are outside or in another room or whatever. So thank you,
I
Joe.
tried the astral projection. It didn't work for me.
It didn't. Okay. All right. Well,
But
it doesn't.
I had a dream. at the dentist and he fixed my tooth. So
Oh, how is it doing, by the way? Did you go to the
Fine.
dentist yet?
no, it's fine.
Okay. All right. Good. Good, good,
Good.
good. So
Sometimes it takes effort to really get the hang of astral projection.
it does, and it's practice. These
Yeah.
are exercises to practice. It doesn't mean they're going to work the very first time perfectly. If you could just get the feeling that you might be getting out of your body, that's a good first, step. Like
Well,
I
for
remember
me,
doing a class once
mhm.
on what is that called? When you can see in another
Yeah.
place.
Remote
Astral
viewing.
Remote
projection.
viewing, yes. I was able to pick up lines. I didn't know what the lines meant, and it looked like a parking lot that was all screwed up to me. And the girl that was administering the class, she's like, "Oh my God, you like nailed it." And I'm like, "Nailed what?" Made
Yeah.
no sense to me. But what they were remote viewing was a airport, and they were
Yes.
the lines, the
Right.
runways.
Right.
But it made absolutely no sense in my brain because I was thinking straight, orderly
Mm-hmm.
lines.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
so a little thing can be the beginning of everything.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And you don't need to have the end result to have it work.
Well,
Baby
it
Yeah,
steps.
I
the
tried all
times.
week and I'll keep trying. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The
Well,
times that it worked for me were when it happened spontaneously.
yes, they're the
When I
best.
try to do it knowingly to say I'm going to do it, it far less often
Hmm.
actually happens. But there have been times in my
Yeah, it's
life
usually
when it
spontaneous.
has
Yeah.
it has happened and you just wake up and realize, oh my God,
Right,
I was
right.
out of
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
Now, Audrey,
Yeah.
were you
Yes,
practicing the first technique that we did last week?
I was.
Did you listen to the one I recorded this week?
No.
Okay, well, we're going to do that one live today, but it is on YouTube
Hmm.
as a standalone, and I tried to make it a little fancy, and anyway,
I think it was a good job.
it was my first try. Hopefully, the second one will be better. And I thought I would be able to use the bones to the first one, but I couldn't. So I have to recreate the
I'll
next
watch
one
it
from scratch.
It's cool.
tomorrow. I
It's
have
cool.
tomorrow off. So
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, and it's only 10 minutes.
I
It's
was
not
about to
very
say
long.
it's not a long thing.
No, and the one we're going to do today is much shorter. And
Oh.
it's really nothing that we probably could do together, but I will allot some time just in case. But this is something more to do, before you head to bed. Oh, actually, this is the 10-minute one. Oh, see, I'm ahead of myself. I'm already working on next week's. God, I can't be making these mistakes. So yeah, this one.
No, but the other one wasn't long.
The one that
What was
is
it?
recorded as a standalone is 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought. It
Yeah.
wasn't
The
even, yeah.
the one that we're going to do next week, the third one, is very short. It's only like 2 paragraphs. It's
Oh,
really,
okay.
really short. So, yeah. And
Sometimes those little ones, though, are very profound and they
yeah.
smack
absolutely,
you hard.
absolutely. And these seem to be in, well, the second one, the one I'm going to do today, is in book 6 of the early sessions. And it was session 277. So,
Mm-hmm.
so if everybody's ready, we can just do that right now. Yes.
Okie dokie.
All good. All right. All right. So let's start just by settling into your seat. Get comfortable. Close your eyes. And let's just unify our space using our breath. With your first breath, take it in through your nose, all the way down to your belly. And hold. And then release fully through your mouth. And now your second breath, way down deep into your belly, and hold. And then release fully through your mouth with a sigh at the end. Now just listen to my voice as I read Seth's words on astral projection, technique 2. Your waking consciousness only participates in projections as a rule when you are in a period of high vitality and exceptional health. On occasion, the waking consciousness does participate during other, usually very depressed periods, but generally speaking, high energy is needed in order to maintain overall stability and in order that the ego is not overstrained. Such conscious projections are automatically spaced out. In this way, there is little danger that problems will arise. It is the same with the conscious retention of dreams in general. You are indeed exercising what amounts to an added ability. You are learning to manipulate within other dimensions of consciousness. Automatic controls are therefore used. You proceed as your abilities and control develop. Suggestion given before sleep will greatly add to your chances of conscious projections from the dream state. It is not necessary, basically speaking, that you notice some small incongruous details in order to realize while dreaming that you are dreaming. There is, however, one good method to use: the suggestion, I will realize while dreaming that I am dreaming, can also be used. As another method, or both of these may be utilized together. At your stage, it is, of course, easier if the actual separation of consciousness from the physical body occurs without your awareness. However, the experience itself is excellent training. I have told you that these projections may carry you to different systems. In the beginning, you are safer, perhaps, in those projections that involve your own reality. There is not any great matter of danger, only that you could fall into blunders. The north-south position is most beneficial. It might be of benefit if you concentrate before sleep upon a simple projection that involves leaving the body, walking out into this room, for example, the living room, or perhaps strolling around the block. When falling off to sleep, for example, imagine that you are in your yard, in another room of your apartment, or in front of the house. When this method is effective, you will not be consciously aware of the actual separation, however. I do not suggest at this point that you or Rupert attempt to contact me during any projection. Later, when you have more training. If by chance you blunder into my territory, then I will know it and seek you out. Whenever you find yourself in any potentially dangerous dream situation during a projection, immediately terminate the dream. You will then return to an ordinary state of consciousness. Now, Mr. Fox is quite correct. When you know you are in a projection, do not be tempted to tamper. There are forces that you do not yet understand. You will find that these projections become more vivid. I must repeat that these are quite valid. They are not hallucinations. Conscious projections do not occur with any frequency as far as a large percentage of humanity is concerned. Note that I speak only now of projections in which you are self-consciously aware. The reasons are somewhat obvious. Conscious projections are dependent upon abilities and control. Also, this ability and control presupposes a fairly disciplined personality. Otherwise, we would have explosive outbursts of suddenly released aggressions in systems where they do not belong. It is quite possible to meet survival personalities, incidentally, during such projections. This does not happen often because so many other issues are necessary. It is also possible, of course, to move into your own future. This occurs regularly, though not always with awareness. Projections into the past are also frequent. Because of some matters we have not yet discussed, at any rate deeply, it is possible to meet your own projection. You are accountable for acts committed during projections, of course, and these alter the personality as any acts do. If you have your wits about you, you can gain information concerning the future by studying your projection environment. If for any reason you suppose it to be ahead of you in time. Some of this is extremely complicated. You may, for example, request before sleep that you project into your own future to see what occurs there. This is legitimate enough if you are willing to accept the results of your projections, for what you see will influence what you do in the present. You will be projecting, of course, into the probable future as it exists for you at this point. The very act of projecting will alter these probabilities. I am not saying that this future environment is not real, however. It is as real as your present. Now, while our eyes are closed, and after hearing what Seth said, let's just imagine for a moment that you are in your yard, in another room of your home, or in front of your house. And we will take just a few minutes to experience this while we are here together and safe. Now, all of those who want to stay in side time can do so. For those who are ready to come back to Seth Talk, you may do so. Those who have chosen to stay in side time won't be bothered at all by those who choose to awaken and share their experiences. And when you are ready, take a few deep breaths, wiggle your fingers and toes, open your eyes, and let's come back to the program. So Seth brought up a lot of little things that I don't think, for me, they're very clear. But I think for new Seth readers and new Seth learners, one was the reference to the north-south position. So Seth is suggesting that Jane and Rob sleep with their heads facing north and their feet facing the south. And they didn't do that. They slept east-west. Actually, they slept, let me think, how was their bed? West-east. So their head was to the west. And I only know that because I know the room. And there's only one window in the bedroom, and that is on the north side of the house. So the bed would have hid the window, and that is the way we have the bed. So we have set the room up the way Seth wanted it set up. And that's in apartment 5. But they're saying that it's very beneficial to have your head pointing north when you are trying to experience these out-of-body experiences. So that's part of our practical Seth. right? We have our bed always head pointing north.
Hmm. It matters.
It does. It does. Yeah.
Hmm. It enhances what you can pick up as well,
Yeah.
at least to some extent. For me anyway, it did matter.
It does. It absolutely matters. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know what? It doesn't hurt anything to try.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's interesting that the places in Greece where they were making mattresses to order, you could have a custom made mattress. It was something that a lot of Greek people did. They'd have their mattress made for their bedroom. And one of the things the company did was they put a wire to ground the bed. They put a wire in the mattress that would then come out and rest on the floor in contact with the floor and whatever
oh wow.
your foundations were.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first place I've ever known that really took all of that very seriously, and made it
Mm-hmm.
easy for people to choose that option
Yeah.
Hmm.
to orient the bed a certain way and
Mm-hmm.
then ground yourself, because a lot of these places that teach meditation and stuff tell you to walk outside, often walk out barefoot on the ground so that you're grounded, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote. And that gives you a certain feeling and a certain connectedness, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I agree about the north south orientation.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of little things like that that all add up to making it easier.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He gave so many tips, and he never said, you have to do this. This is the only way. And it's like, well, try this and try that. So he was always a suggester,
Hmm.
and always in a gentle way. Like he never was a bully kind of a guy,
Hmm.
very gentle and practical.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
The other thing that he was very certain about, and I know new people to this express this feeling is, well, what if I can't get back in my body? So he just said, when you end it, you naturally
Snap
come
back.
back. It,
Yeah,
absolutely,
he
yes,
snapped back. Yeah.
absolutely. So there
Yeah.
is no fear, there is no danger in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an important assurance to
Yeah.
go into it with.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right. Confidence and safety. Hmm.
I agree. That's a
Yeah.
nice meditation.
He's just does a great job. I
That's
love all the,
yeah.
so far every one that I've read of his has been wonderful.
That one's particularly good for you to be in control of making it longer if you want to. You could stay in there for an hour or two if you
Oh,
wanted to,
absolutely. Yes.
you know.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I could
And
feel that.
and his instructions are simple. You know, once you listen to the instructions, which are 10 minutes long, then what you do is quick and easy, and you can do it without listening ever again.
Hmm. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
because it's so easy to do. I mean, the instructions are very simple.
Yeah, yeah.
Go.
Yeah, once you understand the safety and the mechanisms. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just do it.
And remember, Jane did it spontaneously, like you
Hmm.
said, and then she ended up with that manifesto of gosh, it's eluding me now. The idea construction.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
When she flew into the ornamental pear tree on the side of the house, which,
Hmm.
by the way, is gone.
Oh,
That tree, the family ended up selling the piece of property to the west of the house and to yeah, the eye doctor, and he put a parking lot there, so he took the tree down. So yeah,
Made paradise of a parking lot.
that's right.
parking lot.
Yeah. Yep. So many people think the tree that Jane flew into is the one in the front of the house, but it was not. It was the one outside the windows. It
Interesting.
was an ornamental pear tree. Yeah.
I just realized something.
Yes.
It was an out of body experience that led me to find Jane.
Oh, Do tell.
I never thought about it that way before, but as I said, I
Mm.
ended up calling her, being
Yes.
surprised she was in the phone book and blah, blah, blah. But it was because of me having done an out of body experience that led me into, the board, the Ouija board, and picking
Mhm.
up this other entity and so forth. And it was my interest in knowing how to do it right
Mhm.
that made me seek her out because I was confused about what's happening. What is this? Who is this talking to me all the time? And what do you
Yeah.
do about it? So that's how I found her. That's how I came into all of this
Mhm.
out of body because it's so easy. It's really easy.
It's
It
really
is.
easy.
If you're open, it's
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
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 But then it can be surprising.
Absolutely, it could be surprising. Yes.
I had a surprising experience this time.
Oh, do tell,
Not
Martyn.
I ended up there's a basketball court outside the building here,
Mhm.
and I ended up there, and
Oh.
and I there was an entity out there that didn't want me there.
Oh,
Was trying to drive me off, but I didn't. It didn't frighten me, and I don't know. He went away.
you drove him off.
Yeah, maybe, but was just very spontaneous. Again, I didn't choose that. That's where I ended up.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Wonderful. Mm.
yeah,
Interesting. So
yeah,
you have a very strong um, entity yourself.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Apparently,
Yeah.
yeah.
Audrey, how
Yeah.
did you do?
Not good. I have trouble. I can't. I mean, I try to imagine it, and just nothing.
So one of the things that I have found is, if you close your eyes and imagine seeing your kitchen, and can you tell us, what is your kitchen like? What is to the left? What is to the right? If you can imagine walking through the door into your kitchen, that's the beginning, right?
Yes.
That's
But
the
Yes.
do
beginning.
you see it in your mind's eye? Do you actually see it, or you're just imagining it and it's
Yes.
blank? You
Yes.
see it.
Yes. Imagination is seeing. So it's not
Mhm.
like
I have
seeing
none then.
like we're
So,
seeing the little squares on the computer. It's not like seeing that, but it could be. But most likely it is seeing through your mind's eye, that imagining. So when you're
mhm.
so and I don't know why, but the analogy of like standing in front of your kitchen, and yes, I can see that my cupboards are ahead of me, and there's my sink, and to my left hand is my stove, and to the
Mhm.
left of that is the refrigerator, and I can see the colors, and I can see that, but it doesn't look like I'm looking at you guys on the computer screen.
Right.
So it's different, but that's the beginning of it. And then once you achieve it, if you can even feel yourself walking and
Yeah.
being
It
outside.
just gets clearer and clearer. But at
Yes.
Yeah.
first, it's just the fact of you saying, I'm going to picture my kitchen because you know it.
Yes.
You're intimate with how it's laid out.
Mm-hmm.
And but each time you do it, it does become ever so slightly more clear.
Clear. Yes. Joe said, I think it all starts with simply imagination.
Mm,
Imaginationing. That's the word.
yes.
Imaginationing yourself somewhere else.
Hmm.
And if you think that you can't do it, matter of fact, you do it all the time
Yeah.
unconsciously. And a perfect example of that is walking around your house when the lights are out.
Hmm.
Your mind knows where everything is already. It has
Yeah.
a mental map of it.
Hmm. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
I mean, I can imagine it, but I'm thinking I should be seeing it, or, you know.
No, but imagining it is seeing it.
It
It will
that's
Well,
simply
right.
become more clear. What you're seeing will become more and more of a sense of reality than it may be in the beginning.
Right.
So,
So
Audrey, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
when you're doing your photographs and your plants and your things and you're thinking about it the day before, aren't you out there in the garden planning it all in your mind?
Yes, but I don't I don't see it in pictures in my mind. Is what I'm saying. I guess.
Yeah, I
You
understand that.
understand that?
I
Yeah.
do. But you could decide to, and it'll be slowly that you will be able to do it, but you can make the decision that you will do it. You know.
And
Or
when
you
you're
might
when
try.
you're using your imagination and you're imagining going outside or going into another room or whatever, when you come back, I did imagine that. I did see that in my imagination,
In your
in my
head.
third eye. I
Yeah.
did see that instead of saying it didn't work for me.
Well,
Right.
I guess I
Yeah.
never thought of it that
Mm-hmm.
way, and yeah, I have to look at it, ponder this.
Yeah.
A little differently. So,
Yeah.
and it's like when you're daydreaming, like if you're just
It
sitting there and
yes.
your mind's wandering and you're kind of looking up at the sky and your eyes might be open or closed and you just start daydreaming about anything, going to the beach, whatever, taking a nap, whatever you're daydreaming about, it feels real and you can actually see the water or the trees or whatever you're imagining or your bed.
It's the same thing.
It is. It is. And
Try to color it with emotions. If you're walking along the beach, say to yourself, how does the sand feel under my feet? Am I barefoot or not?
very
Do I
good.
have a towel with me? You know,
I
what's
think
ever
that's how I see it more is through emotion. I get
Mm-hmm.
excited knowing I'm going to go out, and
Mm-hmm.
take a walk. So,
maybe you could play a little game with yourself and in the morning do an astral projection, at least try to into your garden and see if you can't find things that are they're different today than they were yesterday. And then go out in your garden and see if you actually picked it up.
try that.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's a good one.
So when Jane first did this, she didn't know what she did. She felt herself go into the tree, and then when she came back, she had all these papers written out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that she didn't describe any conscious activity being in the tree. It was when she came back that she found she had done all this work.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. This whole realm of thought is wide. There's so much involved in something so simple, you know.
And we are all capable of doing this.
Yes.
So part of the thing that I think Seth tried so much was to give us the breadth and the width of what we really are and how much we could accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And not box us and hold us into these little fleshy bodies that we have, whether they're
Mm-hmm.
6 foot tall bodies or 5 foot tall bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We
I
should be
kind of
big and
wondered.
free.
I kind of wonder during present dreams I've had in India, was I projecting? Was it just a? Well, I don't think it was just a dream, but was I projecting myself
Very possible. Very
to
Or
possible.
India?
And Seth says it's never just a dream. He said in this that it is not hallucinations.
Yeah.
right.
It is very real. It is so real because our ego isn't forming
It's
its
suspended.
opinion. Right? You're more
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
Or you might have tuned into a probable self of yours in India.
Exactly.
That's what I thought it. I think it is, but
If you
now
think that, then
after
it probably is.
is yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I experienced a probable self of myself earlier today. Um, Not even thinking about it, just happened. Maybe because I knew I was going to be on this, and yeah, it was very interesting. I was speaking. I mean, I saw myself, basically myself, a little different. But I was speaking a language that I can't even articulate. I can't even make my mouth move that way.
Ah.
And
Wow.
I trying to understand what I was saying, and yeah, it was very interesting though. Yeah,
That sounds very, very
I don't know if
pleasant.
that was a projection or not, but maybe.
Again, a probable self. I
Yeah.
mean, Seth did. I
Yeah.
mean, we came from other places, other planets, other times, other. Could have been a future you that, they have totally different language then.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to pause for a second. And when we say probable selves or future self, that it's all going on right now. So all those selves are going on right now. It's just kind of like turning the tuner dial to tune into them.
Right. Right. And it takes an effort to remind ourselves. Intermittently, we have to keep reminding ourselves about the expansiveness of now, because it's such a different concept for us as humans in this time. We have to get used to adjusting how we see time. So
I
I
get caught up in
need the
time all the
reminder.
time.
Yeah, I need the reminder every now and then, and I just, you have to snap yourself back to what's true. It's not how we experience it while we're doing it, but we have to remember that we are involved in an experiment, in a contract. We're reading a script.
I get.
Maybe that's
Go
another.
ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Maybe that's another name or another word for all that is now.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wowie.
I get caught up in time all the time, because I don't know, it doesn't seem to come naturally to me. Everything happens all at one time. But if I look backwards in my mind eye, I have to really put in perspective of what happened in my life before something else happened, because it all just seems to be layered on top of each other.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's fine for me, but it plays havoc on others trying to relate to what I'm saying or doing. And, they don't understand that I see it so differently. Yeah. Yeah.
I see it in my dreams that it
Yeah.
all goes on in different time periods.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for me, it's linear. That's how I perceive it.
Well, it's hard for us not to, because we have memories of something that happened in the supposed past, even though it's happening in the now.
Yeah. Memory is part of the script.
It is. It is.
We just have to remember we're reading the script.
Yep. Yep.
So do any of you remember when we all agreed to be on Zoom and do Seth Talk?
No.
I think I'm here by a fluke, but
Audrey, you've been here since the very first one.
This is so out of my character to be on Zoom.
This is your new character. I love it.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe I decided to do it.
I love that. I love that.
It really screws with my sense of time and distance and who's where, because you all are everywhere and it's all different times and all different days.
Yeah.
Yet we come together in the spacious present to do this.
In the spacious present.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all in the now.
We're all in the now.
And the whole world could be doing this, although Zoom would probably blow up then.
They'd have to get a lot more servers.
They would. They would.
If we get good enough, we won't need Zoom.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's what Ron Card says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we won't need an internet. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a good thought.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yes. Not needing it is the universe.
Yeah.
The universe communicates with everything without needing a Zoom. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Now, Jeff, did you have any experiences during this little meditation?
Not really.
No.
I was kind of like out in the yard, but I'm kind of like out in the yard all the time anyway.
Out in the yard. All right. Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
I'm pretty good at picturing myself doing things and things I want to do or trying probable outcomes of things before actually doing them in my mind.
Good.
I don't know if other people can do that or not. Take a scenario, a vignette in your mind and run it down the probability stream and see where it goes before you do it.
Oshara does that. She plays out all different possibilities. And yeah.
A lot of inventors
I
do
fly
that.
by the seat of my pants.
Me too.
You're an inventor?
Yeah, I've heard that a lot of inventors do something like that. Einstein would do that. Yeah.
I think so. You know, people, inventors and people who are into music and art and stuff, I have the highest admiration for, because what they're doing is they're taking abstract concepts in their mind and they're actualizing them out into the space-time plane. So that's really interesting. Really helpful to do.
Yeah, yeah. It's an interesting process.
People don't
to
seem to
create
understand
music.
that we create every minute of every day automatically. It just kind of happens. We take a concept or thought in our mind, and then we actualize it.
Didn't Seth say every action is preceded by a thought?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the concept of the way we think, this is some of the things I really like to get into, is, our beginning to believe that our brain is like a receiver, and we don't actually think thoughts. We pick the thoughts out of the ethers that we want to think that are already there. And problems don't come first, solutions come first, and the solution has to find the problem.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's funny you said ether. In my dream, the doctor gave me ether, and I was like, ether? Something, that word doesn't fit. Anesthesia, but ether, and it's just weird that you said ether.
Well, that's what the old folks used to call the fabric of atmosphere, or whatever you want to call it.
The air in the room.
The nothingness, yes.
It didn't compute in my brain. And I remember thinking in the dream, ether.
And now we're talking about it. How about
that?
Good point.
So maybe it was a problem looking for an answer.
Interesting.
But you said it's an answer looking for a problem.
Yes, I get turned around too.
Yeah,
I get all caught up. I'm like Oversoul 7. I get all caught up in this.
Oh, I'm on the second book now, so Jeffy Boy is in there, and I'm like, oh,
that's me.
Yeah, Jeffy Boy.
I haven't read it in decades. I'll have to pick it back up.
It's used to call me.
It's wonderful, and I can't wait to get to the third book because that's all about time.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
But even now, Lydia's being, she was in the 20th century. She's going to be born back in the 17th or whatever century. So the fact that you're alive now and you could be born back in our linear time frame, I know as a hypnotist that I do past life regressions, that I can do future life regressions, regressions as well.
Yeah.
But our brains just don't naturally go that way. And this book, it's very much in the forefront of my thinking right now.
Well, I'm sure that as I go and purposefully pick up the books, the Oversoul books, I'm sure that as I reread them, I'm going to get entirely different things from it because I was so young when I read them.
Oh yeah. So
I got different me.
I got the trilogy. So it's all in one book.
In one.
Yeah. So that's how far I am.
Wow.
I have
that's cool.
I have that much to go. So.
And for our Facebook friends that are watching us, the Oversoul 7 books. Jane wrote those. Those are novels. Those
Yeah.
are based on the Seth material. And it's actually the Seth material in story form. Very
Mhm.
much practical Seth.
And
Very,
yes,
very.
very
There's
Seth
there's
inspired.
there's 3 books.
Mhm.
And nowadays I believe they're being sold together as a trilogy.
Yeah, this is the new one that I have. So it's and it says a Jane book, not a Seth book. So a Jane book, the Oversoul 7 trilogy. The Education of Oversoul 7 was the first book. The Further Education of Oversoul 7 is where I am now. And then Oversoul 7 and the Museum of Time.
Of time, yes.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
it's very entertaining. There's a lot of cast of characters though to keep track of.
Yeah.
And they bounce around a lot. And then yeah. So I'm in a place now where 2 characters are very different, but they have the same name.
Hmm.
So Ram. So anyway, it's a wonderful book.
Yeah.
So
All of them are.
for those that are watching us, if you're having problems with the Seth material, understanding it, read the Oversoul 7 books. It might put it in a
Yeah,
little better
it
perspective.
helps. It helps.
Yeah, it does. Or just call any one of us.
Well, different people need different venues for getting into it all. And, one has to allow their own soul purpose to manifest itself. And some things come to you in your 50s, some of those same things came to others in their 20s. I mean, different folks, like when you're doing the meditations for outer body and stuff, some people were supposed to learn how to do that at 19 and some were supposed to learn it at 65.
Mm-hmm,
So getting all upset at 19 that it's not working, it serves no purpose. Things are going to manifest at the point when you decided you want them to manifest.
I think it's important for you to remember, for everybody to remember, it's not so much that it's not so much that you can do them. It's knowing that it's possible to do it.
Yes.
Once you realize it's possible to do it, if you just chill out, your inner self
Yeah.
will take you where you need to go.
That's right.
mm-hmm.
That's right. Trust it. I remember someone saying, and I have no idea, I can't remember where it came from, but I once ran into a saying that remember that everything that is supposed to be happening in the now is happening in the now. You know, the universe is manifesting in the way that it's supposed to. No matter what it is that's going on or how you like it, the deal is it is manifesting in the way that it's supposed to.
And if you don't like it, create something else.
Create something different. Exactly.
And it's not like we're learning anything new, because we do this all so naturally, and we do it all mostly by, I think, what Seth would call default.
Mm.
That all we are becoming conscious of what we're doing and
Mhm.
being able to kind of steer the ship a little bit better, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
To me, reading the Seth books is like buying a recipe book. You're going to be in the kitchen 3 times a day anyhow, but it helps a lot if you've got this recipe book to give you suggestions on what you can manifest. What can I
Yeah.
create with these ingredients?
Mm-hmm. And we may not use every recipe, but they're there.
Right. But you're going to pick out the ones that
Yep.
you can relate to. Yeah.
Or just that you can.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason you pick up the recipe book is because you know you can cook.
Exactly.
If you couldn't cook, it wouldn't be within your realm of consciousness.
Or it's something that you want to do, so you
Mhm.
get the book to help you create it in your realm of consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, this was
But
this is so good.
I love the term cognitive dissonance, where you have to believe something in order to see it.
Mhm.
I've been saying that a long time, because people, they're blind to things. It's just because they don't believe that it's not in their reality.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
That
like
can
the
be very
what was it?
problematic.
the Incas, when the Spaniards were on the horizon, didn't see the ships because they'd never seen ships before.
Right.
That is so hard for me to understand. I've heard of that. And
I've heard that. I was thinking that too. It's like, wow.
what? And it made me wonder how much stuff is in my life that I don't recognize.
Yeah.
Mhm.
People say all this.
Well, they say,
People say all the time, you got to believe it to see it, and I tell them no, you got to see it to believe it, and I tell them no, you got to believe it to see it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
agree.
true.
they
But
say
I-
we couldn't see the
I-
color blue until recently.
Yes, yes.
That human beings only recently became able to see the color blue.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Within
It's
certain
always
number
been
of
there, but
centuries.
we
Yeah.
haven't seen it the way we see it now.
From what I understand, the
Yeah.
human race has just been recently being able to separate themselves from themselves and watch themselves and critique themselves at the same time. Do
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Is where you're kind of watching yourself and you say, don't do that, do that. It kind of
Mhm.
separates yourself. You're a
Yeah.
little bit above yourself and you're kind of watching yourself
Talking
do
to
something.
your you.
Yeah.
Talking to your you-ness and
I
saying,
think that's a pretty new development also. It's kind of
Wow.
a splitting the consciousness off and being aware of your consciousness from a third person or second person.
Mhm.
That's really interesting.
It is.
That
It
is
is.
Yes,
interesting.
we're works in progress, folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wish we could remember all the things that we were supposed to come here to do. We think we could do them faster if we could remember.
I think if I remembered, I wouldn't want to do them.
Well, maybe.
I don't know.
You'd have to keep coming back though, again and again. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Mm.
might as well get it over with. Get her done.
Get her
That's what
done.
I said. I said, you know what? I don't want to come back here in this particular plane of reality
Nope.
anymore. So whatever I need to do, I want to do it this time around.
And get
Yes.
And
on
you
with
watch. I'll live to be 400 or 500 and live to regrets ever saying that.
it. Now that's hilarious. So this is going to be the last one where you're going to live it
On
for
this-
1,200
on this-
years.
On this
and
particular
we'll
journey.
see you on that Sunday too. 500 years from now, we'll be here.
I'm still going to be saying, I wish I would get this over with.
People
Oh,
will
that's
be
so funny.
watching these videos 500 years from now.
Oh yes,
What are
yeah.
they talking about?
And we'll still be alive in
Yeah.
many ways. That's so awesome.
We may be watching them 500
Exactly. We'll
Yeah.
pop in on a little square.
Yeah.
years. Yeah,
And we'll say Jeff 2.
yeah.
It'll be Jeffy Man then, not Jeffy Boy.
Jeffy boy.
Oh, well, fellas, it is 3:05. I know. Can you believe that? Our time is drawing to an end. Oh,
Yes, baby.
oh. Jack must need.
Okay.
Bye, Mickey.
Bye, Mickey.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. And
Bye.
let's practice practical Seth.
What's
I
that?
will
So
try.
we're going to show up next week and be able to talk about, and I'm talking to the Facebook people and I'm talking to the YouTube people, give us your thoughts on how you are using the Seth material, practical Seth in your everyday life. We would love to hear what's happening with you, what's happening with these meditations that you're trying. I hope they're beneficial. I will try, re-recording them with a louder sound. But I'm enjoying, when I first hurt my knee, that's what I did. I'm like, I couldn't walk. So I sat here and I figured out how to do video editing. So, yeah, somebody said, sit still. This is what you need to do. So I'm going to do it. So anyway, thank you all for joining us. And thank you to all our Facebook friends. And we will see you on Sunday at 1:00 Standard Time, New York. All right. Bye.
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 Love you all.
Bye.
You too.
Love you all.